Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first guest, someone who I've actually been a fan of for a really long time. We never met until very, very recently, a few months ago, and I've always heard her name. Arun Shivdasani is here.
We also have a personal friend of ours, a artist, activist, and entrepreneur from Queens, New York, Himanshu Heem Suri. Let's give him a big hand. Heems is currently working at Spotify as a curator. He's an incredible artist, and we're gonna have a really good discussion with him here today.
Next to Heems, a woman who needs no introduction. She is Miss Hina Patel. Why are you looking at me like that, Hina? Hina is a boss in every way. She is the CEO and founder of Mela Arts Connect.
We also have Archana Mishra, one of the founders of the cultural impact platform known as Product of Culture. Before starting the organization, Archana was a branding and public relations specialist. She is the former festival director of the Chicago South Asian Film Festival and sat on the board of the Chicago South Asian Arts Council, and she's also our friend as well. So give it up for Archana.
I want to start with Arun Shivdasani. When you started your mission in '98, where did you see the need at that time? Along with that, were there challenges, and how was the reception to what you were doing by letting the world know, or letting New York know about our culture?
My DNA is arts, and I looked around me and found nothing of India anywhere, whether it was literature or art, dance, music, theater, film. Nowhere did I see Indian artists. America had no idea who we were or whether we deserved a platform. So we had to show that. Nobody knew their talent, and it was up to the Lark Theatre for their experts to help them along the way to do stage readings of their work, to get the public to recognize them. And this was bringing mainstream audiences. Our artists, our visual artists, they are spread across the country. But were they getting gallery representation? Absolutely not. So we do group shows every year just to give them a platform and move them month to month to different art galleries around the country, just so that different people would see them, hear them, see their work, and recognize that this is somebody that's valid and to be dealt with along with the rest of the people in the art world.
Himanshu, you started in this scene by making music in the late 90s and early 2000s, eventually owning your own label, and furthermore, pausing on making music to pursue other avenues within the music space. What are the biggest differences in marketing and reach of Desi music from your early days to today?
I guess that depends on how much as an artist I wanted to market myself as a South Asian artist and what that entails. So there's a delicate balance of exposing your art when it entails your South Asian identity to the audiences and to yourself, and what do you want to convey to them, and what are you trying to get out of yourself, and to whom does this appeal, and why does it appeal to them? And so maybe as an artist my goals were different, as a curator and as a somebody at Spotify whose goal is to bring South Asian music not just to mainstream non-South Asian audiences, but to South Asian audiences in the global diaspora. But what I've seen as far as changes go, I can only speak on my behalf. When I started as an artist, I wasn't out there marketing myself as a South Asian. I was speaking on racism in America as it pertains to blacks and whites and Latinos and Indians as a whole. Then eventually, once I built that space for myself, I was able to address kind of what my experience as a South Asian was, specifically what my experience as somebody 4 blocks away from 9/11 when it happened was, and how that affected my life afterwards.
Hina, a lot of your work focuses on Bollywood, dance. Why that particularly in the pushing forward of arts and culture?
Why I primarily work with artists that are classical or traditional, well, have roots in classical or traditional spaces is because when I got into the field, I was working with musicians that fall under the category of world music, right? And that category and that term, which I hate, and a lot of people really, really dislike, strongly dislike, and should not be utilized anymore, is a space where there was a need to be able to slot it to where does it come from and was it traditional, right? Because recognize within the performing arts space, these are systems that were set up, infrastructure that is set up around a Eurocentric idea of what art is, right? Ballet, orchestra. And so the field I occupy most of my time in, which is the performing arts space, there's still not a lot of people of color. There's very, very few South Asians.
Archana, product of culture is part of a very recent and encouraging development of new organizations and initiatives to support South Asian creatives. Why is this time so important? And what future are you building towards?
In terms of what our history has been as South Asians, we've been our community has been here for such a long time, but now the diaspora, this generation, has become critical mass. And because of all of the ways that we're connected now, because of social and things like that, we actually have voices to make change and do good. Our art is beautiful, and every vertical of it. No matter what the interest you have, there's just so many ways to have that progress and really just show support.